Today on Retro and Beyond, we're counting down 15 everyday things from the 1970s that would absolutely blow the minds of kids today.
Can you imagine sharing your phone line with a total stranger down the road? Having to walk across the room every time you wanted to change the TV channel? Waiting an entire week just to see how a single photo turned out? How did we survive without Google, streaming, or even a flashlight that worked when you needed it most? And what did Sundays feel like when almost everything was closed? Let's dive into a world that today's teens wouldn't last an hour in. Today on Retro and Beyond, we're counting down 15 everyday things from the 1970s that would absolutely blow the minds of kids today. And along the way, we'll ask, why were flashlights so unreliable? Why was hearing your favorite song on the radio such a thrilling event? And what in the world was a film strip projector? Let's get into it.
1. Partyline telephones.
What if your phone call wasn't private? Because your neighbors could hear everything. In the 70s, especially in rural areas, party lines were standard. You'd lift the receiver and sometimes hear Mrs. Johnson already chatting. You had two choices: hang up politely or eavesdrop. Today's kids panic over read receipts. Imagine your whole street sharing one phone line. Ever been the remote control? Because in the 1970s, if you were the youngest sibling, you were. Clicking through channels meant standing up, turning a dial, and hoping the antenna cooperated. No voice commands. No streaming.
3. Pong and Atari.
Why did two bouncing rectangles feel like magic? Before Fortnite and VR, the height of home gaming was Pong. A dot, two paddles, endless fun. Atari changed living rooms forever, proving you didn't need graphics, just imagination.
4th TV guide and weekly listings.
Ever plan your week around a show? In the 70s, you had to. You bought a TV guide, flipped to your local schedule, and timed your evening around it. Missed it? Too bad. No replays, no on-demand. Gone. Forever.
5 stores closed on Sundays. Could you live in a world where nothing is open on Sunday? That was reality in the 70s. Sundays meant no shopping, no errands, just quiet. You stocked up by Saturday, or went without. It was inconvenient, yes, but it made weekends feel like weekends. 6. Film strip projectors in school. What did class presentations look like before PowerPoint? Enter the film strip projector. It beeped, it clicked. Someone manually advanced the frame. Slow? Definitely. But for kids then, it was high-tech. 7. Photo developing wait times.
Can you imagine taking a photo and not seeing it for a whole week? You dropped off the film, waited, then flipped through prints in a yellow Kodak envelope. And if your eyes were closed in all of them, too bad.
8. 8-tracks and cassette tapes.
Enter Dare. Want to skip a song? Fast forward and guess. Want to make a playlist? Sit for hours recording a mixtape. And those 8 tracks? Sometimes they switched tracks mid-song. We didn't care. We loved it.
9. Metal ice trays.
In one another. Forget silicone trays or fridge dispensers. You cranked a metal lever to break cubes loose. They were loud, stubborn, and satisfying. But ask your fingers how that felt in the winter.
Ten. Flashlights that barely worked.
In a more or another, why did flashlights in the 70s need a ritual? You had to tap it, shake it, twist it, and still the yellow beam barely lit the room. Run out of D batteries? Good luck.
11. Phone books and rolodexes.
How did we find people before search engines? Phone books were a chore. Rolodexes were gold. You'd scribble numbers by hand, cross them out when people moved. And if someone lost theirs, that was a disaster.
"12. Waiting all day to hear your favorite song. Why did hearing your favorite song feel like winning the lottery? Because it was rare. You waited, hoped, and jumped on the record button when it played. If the DJ talked over it, your mixtape was ruined. 13. Ordering from the Sears Catalog.
Can you imagine shopping with a paper book? The Sears Wish book was our Amazon. You flipped through, circled what you wanted, wrote down item numbers and mailed it in. Then you waited and waited. No tracking number, no prime.
14. Waiting for the weather on the 6 o'clock news.
What if you only got the weather once a day? You sat through local news, hoping the weatherman would finally show up. No radar, no apps, just a stick and a felt board. And yet somehow, we trusted it more.
15 TV dinners in foil trays.
Ever waited 45 minutes for a frozen dinner? It came in foil. The brownie was molten or frozen. The mashed potatoes were questionable. But sitting in front of the TV with a metal tray and the $6 million man? That was comfort. So what happened to all these everyday things? Why do so many of them feel warmer, slower, and somehow more real? Let's wrap it up. The 1970s made us wait. To call someone, to hear a song, even to get a glass of ice. But in that waiting, we found patience, connection, and magic in the mundane. To today's kids, these things seem impossible. To us, they were normal life. Thanks for walking with us today. This is Retro and Beyond.